So yes, Bethesda promised to roll out the updates for Starfield, and that's exactly what they're doing. We got a brand new patch today, a new update which just released. We're going to go over new gameplay post-patch, talk about it. Also, yes, some critical features have been added to the game, highly requested stuff. And yeah, we're going to talk about a brand new warning about possibly losing legendary items. You don't want to do this, or you could lose some critical gear. This is extremely important. And then, is the Starfield hate out of control at this point? Sound off in the comments down below if you feel that way or not. I'm kind of curious. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive into this new patch, shall we? So yeah, here we go. It says this right here, Starfield update 1.736 fixes and improvements. We have a FOV sliders are now available in settings that allow players to use first person or third person to adjust their FOV. That's really nice. Performance and stability for PC only. Improved stability for Intel Arc GPUs. That's always been a problem. Various additional stability and performance improvements as well. We'll talk about that more as we go. And then for quests, Echoes of the Past address an issue where tunneling creatures could pick a location that would prevent progression. So that has also been addressed as well. But the question is this right here, some responses. Are they drip feeding small patches before some gigantic patch or something? I mean, it's not like I don't appreciate patches, but the patch notes looks like something that I could expect from weekly hotfixes. And this is an interesting take. It says Bethesda learned from Fallout 76 that if they wait to release fixes to put them in larger patches, players will assume they are doing nothing. So I think that's on point. That's why. Plus, also, I think they're going to be introducing smaller patches before perhaps a major patch, because it's more stable releasing smaller patches. There's less, I guess you would say, influence on the actual infrastructure of the coding of the game, and it's a lot easier to maintain. Now, also, we have some ideas on what we would like to see next from the community. It says, add shoulder swap in third person. Let me know how many of you actually play in third person. How big of a deal is this if it doesn't make it into the game? And then I'm hoping they put in something where if you're buying ammo, it tells you how many you have in your inventory. It does by not in having to keep going to sell to see what I've got. It's always been a pain. This is one of the things on my top list of things that need to be added into the game. But let's get into some post-patch gameplay showcasing the changes. As you can see right here, yes, your options for first person and third person FOV slider is going to be under accessibility. Here's the default view. If you're wondering, yeah, it doesn't look too bad, but we can do even better. So let's go ahead and tune that up to 100. Now you can go all the way up to 110, by the way, for the first person FOV. But yeah, it's looking pretty nice. Now imagine that there are some performance hits that you can take as you crank that up and up. So just be warned about that as you continue to adjust the FOV slider options. But yeah, we can ultimately tune this up to 110. That's looking really good. Now for third person, here's the default view. Go ahead and tune that up as well. Accessibility. And let's crank it up to about 100 right here and take a look at what that does. Yeah, I kind of like adjust it to where it gives you that wider perspective from third person, but it does look nice. And yes, as you can see, this is the ultimate perspective that you can get from third person. So yeah, but when it comes to performance, I did some test runs in Aquila City. This is where I've had the most problems with Starfield. And currently, you know, the game is running very similar even after post-patch. Not to say the game is running absolutely terrible. For me personally, I've been able to adjust my settings to get the game running very, very good, at least on my end. But if you're expecting some absolutely amazing performance boost with this update, I wouldn't hold your breath whatsoever when it comes to this update. Now, if you're on Arc GPU, you might see a significant performance boost. Of course, cannot confirm. Curious to see if anyone uses Arc GPUs or not. Post a comment down below. I'm actually kind of curious. But yeah, you know, at least they're trying to head in the right direction with performance, but they need a more significant performance patch in the future for it to really, really matter. Yeah, a lot of people are wondering, is the Starfield hate getting out of control? And ultimately, is the Starfield hate becoming corny in a way? This one comes from Old Property 3009, who says this. Yes, I know it didn't live up to everyone's expectations, but honestly, the game is really not as bad as all the videos on YouTube make it seem. It's almost like anyone who enjoys the game is called a fanboy, which is dumb because some people just genuinely like it for what it is. All the good criticism of the game is being overshadowed by typical comments like, it's a Bethesda game, of course it sucks. This game isn't perfect, but it seems like the haters think about the game more than those who enjoy it. Ironically, okay, rant over. It says a lot of you guys have a really amazing comments. Whether you like or dislike the game, I think voicing your opinion regardless is super admirable. Hopefully Bethesda can take some notes from a lot of you. That's one thing that I have noticed is that there's people that just hate on the game, and then there's people that are critiquing the game, giving critical feedback to make the game better in the future. And that's what I look for. That's kind of what I see in the comments of my own video from you guys is, yeah, the game isn't perfect in your eyes, but what is here is something that you seems like to me you guys are really, really enjoying so far. And yeah, it seems like there has been a lot of hate, at least from what I am seeing for Starfield, which it's good to note that there is a community here that really, really enjoys it and is going strong. Now, we do have some critical feedback, mentioning that earlier. Check it out right here. It says, I love this game, but having to register a stolen starship at your pirate base in order to sell it is the most insane gameplay mechanic ever devised. This one comes from Never Lick Toads, who says, putting aside for a moment the incomprehensible fact that apparently my starship costs less than you, Honda Civic, I'm in disbelief that in order to sell a stolen starship to pirates, a pirate gang I'm honored member of, I have to register it with pirates at a cost that covers about 80% of the value of the ship. Selling a starship, which I risk my life to capture in a daring space battle and engage in hand-to-hand combat with the honorable but doomed crew, is less profitable than looting 2 or 3 guns or fancy helmets. This is definitely something I think Bethesda needs to look into and do a big overhaul to the whole sense of being kind of like a pirate, a criminal. It needs to be embraced more with the actual game mechanics and reward system. It's just right now not adding up. Now, it says this right here. I understand the registration mechanic at spaceports for law-abiding citizenry, but having to register a stolen vehicle at the Crimson Fleet pirate lair is possibly the most bizarre mechanic I've ever encountered. Apparently, the Crimson Fleet has quite the sophisticated bureaucracy. This is quite the scam Delgado has going on to fleece me, his valuable pirate, by charging me exorbitant registration fees just to sell my own stolen starship. Crime doesn't pay after all. This feature is so silly, it is too hilarious to be angry about, but I do seriously hope Bethesda considers a future update to make pirating starships actually worth it. There should be one location in the game where you can sell stolen ships without being charged registration fees, and that location should be the key. If you can't sell stolen ships for a reasonable profit, there is really no point to even joining the Crimson Fleet in this game. The normal piracy missions don't pay much, and they're hard to complete without getting a bounty that exceeds your profit. Having a mechanic where you can sell a stolen starship without registering would make it worthwhile. Hide it because of a ludicrous skill tree if you have to, but the mechanic should exist. I implore you, I just want to make a decent living as a pirate. No pirate taxation without pirate representation. I love it. Well said right there. Yeah, this really does need an update. And again, Bethesda, I really do hope that they are listening to this sort of feedback and get on some sort of bigger update regarding this sort of system. I think it would be a huge game changer for them to look into this for sure. Now, we also need to talk about that big warning about the possibility of losing major weapons in this game and gear that you otherwise would love. Check it out right here. It says this. So Bethesda just effed me out of a couple thousand pieces of armor, weaponry, misc items. I kid you not, this happened to Positive Edge 9256. And you can see his house is completely empty of his items. And we do have some replies here as well, but it says it was all furnished with chests and crap. Can't imagine how they were able to F up this mechanic since it worked in Fallout 4 almost 10 years ago. Yikes. So let's see how many people are dealing with this. So it says, yeah, this is a known issue. Basically, there's 2 or 3 maybe times that New Atlantis overworld gets reset. Once during the UC Vanguard questline and once after some story spoilers that occur there. When these resets happen because the spaceport gets a makeover, the entire map is reset to its default state once the spaceport goes back to normal, And since the New Atlantis penthouse apartment is on the overworld layer, it also gets reset. Basically, don't bother with the New Atlantis penthouse until after you've done all the missions, which reset the New Atlantis overworld, because you will lose all your crap that you put up there if you do. To my knowledge, all the other houses except the one in the well, which does the same thing during one of the story spoiler quests, since you pass through it, don't have this issue, since a lot of them are in their own instance load zone. Yikes. This is a big deal and needs a fix ASAP. But there's a warning for you all about the penthouse in New Atlantis. Be careful with that one, because you can lose a lot of very critical and important gear, especially stuff that you love. Even if it isn't like stuff that you're using, maybe it's for memory's sake and you want it up on the wall and you want to return and be like, the memories of an adventure. But yeah, you don't want to lose that. So hopefully that helps you out in the future. All right, so now it's time to go over your top comments from my previous video, which was this one right here. So the inevitable just happened, and major backlash over this. So let's go ahead and get into this one right now. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up in a future video, but this is what you guys had to say about this one. We have Chaos, who says, this may be weird to some, but I enjoy Starfield like no other game I've played. I work a lot, and I'm also enthusiastic about space and exploration in general. Doesn't have to be in space. I like that the grind included in this game is ran at your own pace. There are so many ways to get experience and money that it needs no glitches. After a week or even just a day at work, it feels incredibly therapeutic for me, at least, to just get lost in space and explore this game's interpretation of what these different planets would actually look like and feel like. I boost jump all over the place, and I still have yet to build one outpost. I barely follow the story because I'm exploring and enjoying that. I think, obviously, this game will affect everyone differently, but it's definitely not a bad game. It's either for you, or not, but bad, not at all. Well said. 75 upvotes, one of the most upvoted comments here. And then we have, my number one thing with Starfield is that they need to give us manual control over where doors and ladders are placed in the ship builder. A preview option for the fabs, but also be immensely beneficial. 100% agree. I've heard this complaint time and time again. That's something that's far more complicated to update, by the way, I would imagine. So I wouldn't hold your breath on that one. You never know, though. Maybe in like future DLCs, if they add entirely new ships, that's where I think you would see the update happen. But yeah, we have HM who says this. I've tried doing bad things in Starfield, and no matter what I did, the story forced me to take the peaceful, goody-good route. I'm playing it, but I'm just consistently disappointed and have a hard time getting immersed. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I don't know why they decided that with this one. It just seems like you are funneled into having to take that route, that path in this game, strangely. It's definitely a decision Bethesda stuck by and decided upon for some strange reason, but it would be nice if they would have embraced, like, the dark side of the universe, at least in my opinion. All right, so there it is, the latest updates and happenings around Starfield. Hope you guys liked the video. If you did, smack that like button. Really appreciate all the love and support on the videos. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Take care.